Alright, so we're working on this glow plug controller, and we're going to replace these two capacitors, and I'll show you the replacements. These are 100 microfarad and a 220 microfarad. They're both 10 volt capacitors. Of course, the car itself is 12 volts, so there must be some kind of voltage drop in this circuit. But when I went and got my replacements, I ended up buying 4. The place I go to is a local place, and it just doesn't make sense to try to get these shipped in bulk. By the time you order from Mauser or somewhere, you're going to pay more in shipping than I can get them local. But their loose capacitors like this are 35 cents, and one of these boxed ones was 85 cents and the other one was $1. So even the boxed ones under $2, and then under $1 for these. And the reason I got different ones, I grabbed these at first. I was wanting to get 105 degrees Celsius capacitors. These are 85. They didn't have them in the loose ones, and so I had those two. And then I went over to their boxed capacitors, and they had 105 degree capacitors. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and use these. And I just got these just in case I need them, just to put in my inventory since I was there anyway. I've got that other glow plug controller. I don't know if it uses the same capacitors, but I could always rebuild it with these. And the 85s would probably be fine, but for one thing, these are all they had. I wanted to get above 10 volt capacitors, or at least 10 volt. You know, you don't want to go lower on the voltage. It's okay to go up. They didn't have 10 volt in the loose ones, so these are, I think, 25 volt. Yeah, these are both 25 volt, and I wasn't sure. I was pretty sure I could fit them. Yeah, about the same size. This one's, it's same roundness and then shorter. This one's just a hair fatter and shorter. I was pretty sure I could fit them, I just wasn't positive. So I went ahead and got these as well. These are 16 volt, so we're still going up on our voltage, but they're actually quite a bit smaller than these. So they definitely will fit. And capacitors have just gotten smaller over the age. It doesn't mean anything lesser of them that they're smaller. But so we're going to be jumping up from a 10 volt to 16 volt. That doesn't matter as long as your microfarads are the same. You can go up on the voltage. So let's get these two out. And before we remove them, we're going to mark the board on the polarity of the capacitor. And that way when I go back in with it, I can make sure I get it right. And then they've got this glue stuff on here, and I'm not sure. I think I'm going to take my knife and see if I can just peel it away. It may release once we desolder them, but I think I'm going to first try to get some of that away from them. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's coming up. So I'm just got my knife and I'm scraping it off the board. I don't care if it stays stuck to the capacitor. Because we're pulling the capacitors out. But we want a fairly clean surface, you know, for the new ones. Alright, that's got most of it peeled away. So now, let's see if our desoldering iron is, our desoldering gun is hot enough to do it. So we'll go over to the back side. Looks like we've got a spot here. my Hakko 470B. I need a new filter on it. Doesn't have quite as much suction because the filter's a little dirty. You see it goes over almost all the way to the red. Alright, so that is done. So we can pull these out. There we go. You can see the glue just stayed with the capacitors. We, got it off the board. So we can turn that off. And so now we know that our 100 they came off just like that. So we'll open our new ones. See, they came off. We had the 100 right here and the 220. So we'll take our 220, line up the polarity, push it down in there. We'll go ahead and do the 100 as well. Polarity. Make sure they're pushed down good. My tip is about gone on this soldering iron. You don't want to touch the solder to the iron. You touch it to the traces. Make sure the traces are hot enough to melt the solder. Alright, hopefully my head wasn't in the way there. Let me get a pair of pliers, we'll trim those up. Trim this a little better. Alright. Zoom y'all back out. And there we go. All done. So now all we have to do is reassemble it, and we are done. Let's see, how did it go? There you go. I'll put screws in it. Thanks for watching.